Hola chicos, bienvenidos, soy Juani. Now, how to fast track your Spanish conversation, especially if you're a beginner or early intermediate. Now, with this simple technique, it's very effective because we don't have to learn as many conjugations as needed, and we can basically start off by using these three simple but powerful verbs. The first one, the verb tener. So the verb tener, to have. We've also got the verb poder, to be able to. And then lastly, we've got the third verb, querer. So the verb querer, which is to want. The reason why these three verbs in particular will really help expand your Spanish conversation fast is for the simple fact that we can simply conjugate them, but we can also form so many different phrases, so many different sentences and questions just by simply adding on another verb onto these ones. But the good thing is we don't have to conjugate the other verbs. Por ejemplo, tengo que ir a la oficina. So tengo que ir a la oficina. No puedo correr, no puedo correr. Quiero mejorar mi español. So quiero mejorar mi español. Now let's get into it, everyone. So let's start off by looking at this example. Quiero mejorar mi español. I want to improve my Spanish. So you can see here we start off by conjugating the verb querer in the yo form. So I want, which is quiero. You can see though we don't have to conjugate the verb mejorar. Now why is that? The reason is because we've already said yo quiero. Okay, so we're already saying I want. We don't need to conjugate that second verb because everyone in the language in Spanish already knows that we're talking about ourselves. So we can simply say quiero mejorar and leave mejorar in its unconjugated form. So quiero mejorar mi español. Now, a common mistake that I used to make all the time was conjugating both verbs. So remember, you don't have to conjugate both verbs. Simply conjugate the first one. That indicates who you're speaking about, and then we can simply add on the other verb unconjugated. Another thing is, if we translate this example back into English, so I want to improve my Spanish, you can see it's really crucial that I put I before the verb want so that everybody knows who I'm talking about. Because you can see in English, I could also say, so I want, I could say you want, or they want, or we want, and you can see the verb want, the conjugation doesn't actually change at all. So in English, it's really crucial that we say I, or we, or they. But the cool thing about Spanish is you don't actually have to say that because all the conjugations are completely different. For example, if I said to you, quiero, so quiero, you automatically know that I'm saying I want because the conjugation quiero is completely different in Spanish to all the other conjugations. Now, of course, sometimes with the él, ella, or usted form of the verb, you may need to actually specify who you're speaking about sometimes. For example, mi amigo quiere, so mi amigo quiere, or mi madre quiere. But basically, apart from that, we can just get away with just using the conjugation and not worrying about saying yo, or tú, or nosotros, or ellos. Now, another thing to be aware of is what goes in between both verbs. For example, if I wanted to say in English, I want to improve, but if I use the verb can, I can simply say I can improve. So notice how after the verb want, I have to put to there, but after we use the verb can, I can just simply add on the verb straight after it. So it works similar in Spanish. The first verb that we use dictates whether we have anything between both verbs or whether we don't. Por ejemplo, quiero mejorar mi español. I want to improve my Spanish. Or if we use the verb tener, tengo que mejorar mi español. So tengo que mejorar mi español. I have to improve my Spanish. But why is there que in between the verb tener and the verb mejorar? The reason is that with the verb tener, when you're expressing that I have to do something or you have to do something, when you're expressing that, the rule is with tener, you have to put tener que, and then you add on the unconjugated verb straight after that. So just be aware of that. Now everyone, we're ready to start saying phrases, sentences, or questions in Spanish. So let's have a play around with it. Now in Spanish, the verb to travel is viajar. So the verb to travel is viajar, and to say more is más. So más. So how do you think you would say, I want to travel more? So in this case, you'd say, quiero viajar más. So quiero viajar más. So I want to travel more. So can you see how simple that is? All right, let's try another one. How would you say, I can travel more? So I can travel more. Not too difficult, is it? Puedo viajar más. So puedo viajar más. Now let's try it with tener. I have to travel more. How would you say that? Cool. So nice and easy again. Tengo que viajar más. So tengo que viajar más. So remember with tener we put que after that when we're expressing what we have to do. Now to start off with, I would recommend just really getting a grip and knowing off the top of your head what the conjugations are of the yo form of these verbs, but also the tú form of these verbs first. Because when you first start speaking Spanish, you're going to mainly be speaking about yourself, but also the person that you're speaking with. So let's now try using the same technique, but this time talking about the person you're speaking with, or the tú form of these verbs. Before we begin, if you're not familiar with the tú form of these three verbs, here they are here. So we've got tú quieres, so tú quieres, so you want. We've also got tienes, so tienes, you have. Or we've also got puedes, so puedes, which is you can. So let's start saying some sentences. Now the verb to learn in Spanish is aprender. So aprender is to learn. So how would you say in Spanish, do you want to learn Spanish? Awesome. So not too difficult. ¿Quieres aprender español? So ¿quieres aprender español? Do you want to learn Spanish? All right. Now the verb to walk is caminar. So caminar. So let's say your friends had a little accident and you want to ask them, can you walk? Cool, nice and simple. Puedes caminar. So puedes caminar. Can you walk? All right, let's try another one, this time with the verb tener. Now, one of my favorite verbs in Spanish, to eat, is comer. So comer is to eat, and something is algo. So algo. So how would you say in Spanish, you have to eat something? Cool. Nice and simple again. Tienes que comer algo. So tienes que comer algo. So can you understand now why this simple technique is so useful in speaking Spanish faster? Let me give you a few more examples. ¿Quieres ir a la playa? Do you want to go to the beach? ¿Quieres ir a la playa? Or I have to work today. Tengo que trabajar hoy. So tengo que trabajar hoy. Or if I'm asking you for a favor and I'm asking you, can you clean the house? ¿Puedes limpiar la casa? So puedes limpiar la casa. Great job everyone. So now what I want to do is urge you to go out there and practice saying some sentences, practice saying some questions, some phrases in Spanish in a conversation. If you made it this far, you might as well like the video, and if you got any value from this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Apart from that though, I will see you in the next one. Hasta pronto.